You have to do it. You need to hire engineers to do it. Deliver to the clients. They need to make a change. You go back to engineers. This is the first time in history where I had a few clients where I said, let me show you. Let me teach you how to do it. And then CEO of this small organization jumped in and it's like, I don't have any technical background. I don't understand coding. And I said, you don't need to. Let's go together. Let's go to make.com. Let's have 5 modules. Click, 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 connect, run. Give you an example. I'm helping Canadian rural area small businesses, Alberta. It was interesting. So we are coaching small businesses, how to get to the next level. And one of the clients, the CEO, he said, well, so Evgeny, how can you help me? I just bought a business. So what can I do? Read the code, analyze it, highlight it, and gave instructions to developers how to adjust the codes. But again, you had to adjust millions of lines of codes. But still, it was much simpler. So everyone wowed. I read the book about Elon Musk, right? So he tried to automate everything at his Tesla factory, right? And he installed robot everywhere. He hit the first roadblock when he came in. He looked at the first, automation tool and said, why is taking 8 seconds to type the bolt? The either will adapt or they will cease to exist. Doesn't matter what the size of the company. If you do not get into the AI strategy and start adapting it, you probably will be obsolete.
Hi, Evgeny. How's it going?
Doing great. Yeah, very busy. AI keeps us very busy.
That's pretty good. I love that smile right there. It's pretty good. Of course, for our audience right now, we wanted to really understand your journey and wanted to also be curious about where you were before and how you became or how you landed with AI. So maybe you could start with how did you find or how did you first discover the power of no-code automation? And what was the tipping point that made you fully embrace it?
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely an honor to join your podcast, Justin. I run a small boutique, Koloda Consulting, where we help our clients with IT strategy and now focusing more and more on AI. I discovered AI a long time ago. I worked for PwC and then I worked for BDO Canada, big consulting firms, where I ran the IT advisory services. And oh my God, I was like 7, 8 years ago where BDO acquired the AI company and we started implementing AI mostly on the analytical parts. And I remember we had a few big projects with banks on analyzing codes. It was a French company, French product, which analyzed 5 million lines of code overnight and provided dashboard and advised if the application or legacy application is ready to be transferred into the cloud or rewritten from C++ to Java and so on. And I remember it was so fascinating. We went to big banks, big insurance companies, because they have legacy applications. They had, millions lines of code. And suddenly we showed them how that tool, it was not completely AI, but it was automation. Read the code, analyzed it, highlighted it, and gave instructions to developers how to adjust the codes. But again, you had to adjust millions of lines of codes, but still it was much simpler. So everyone wowed. But then AI came along and even that company pivoted very quickly. So with the AI capability, and especially with Agentic AI right now, the agents can read the code, run the code, analyze it, fix it, run again, and deploy. And that's changed everything. So again, I've done tons of automation just for my own company, which saved me a lot of time, and for the clients. The simplest tool, we used Zapier before, then we started exploring make.com together with the Airtable. Make.com is a true showcase of no coding, where I remember I was teaching my kids and push them into STEM programs where they were learning block coding, right? And I remember we had long discussions with my teen boys. Should I learn Java? Should I learn Python? Should I learn C++? And I was telling them even 3-5 years ago, learn that block coding, understand the coding, how it works. There'll be no coding in the future. You will not need to write in Python. And we were laughing, and now they're saying, yes, I think we wasted a lot of time trying to learn the code. And I told them, you're not wasting time. You understand how Python works, right? But we're getting into the environment right now where you don't even need to understand the code. We're using, let's say, make.com, right? And you build the modules, and it suggests you to build the JavaScript or JSON script right inside the module. Before, just, I don't know if you remember, you need to understand the syntaxes and troubleshoot and fix. Now, you just simply copy the JSON code, put it back GPT, and ask, so what's wrong with it? Fix it. It reads the code, analyzes the syntaxes, it fixes, and give you the correct code. You copy, paste it back, run it again, till it works. After 3 or 4 or 5 attempts, the JSON code works very well. And sometimes it's like 1 page long. So this is the beauty of it. But now with, Agentic AI, we see deeper and deeper, the automation with AI, where it became truly autonomous, right? Self-sufficient, autonomous AI language models and agents, which creates the code, test the code, deploy the code, analyze it, and fix it. This is really fascinating, and we see a lot of requests from our clients, right? How to automate.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Just by listening from you, your journey, your forecasted 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I think even by coding right now versus before, it was totally different. Like just a piece of one character could dramatically, have an error. And now you can even ask AI to help you troubleshoot, as you shared. So that's amazing. Yeah, agentic AI, I fully agree. I'm excited. I'm excited what's going to happen, what's going to change, what's going to bring AI for us, agentic AI. And as we speak, there's a lot of technology has been developing agentic AI as well. So let's go with you. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that inspiring beginning of this podcast. Before, I'm just curious, when you deal with clients or probably with yourself, with your business, what's the biggest roadblocks before, no code tools, before implementing no code tools? What were the very much frustrating inefficiencies or bottlenecks in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, previously, everything was going down into that engineer, right? Even look at the analytical tools, right? So there's a big gap there. I had a big project with Bank of Canada where they were trying to choose their business analytical tools. And we came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter if it's Power BI, if it's Tableau or Yellowfin, it all depends who your engineers are, what platform they're comfortable with. And, we were talking about, hiring a data analytical engineer for each department, right? So that's where it came to, even recently. But we had a project for one of the clients, right? They're looking for analytical tools. And I started digging, and I came across a company called Coral Data. So what they did, they writing a script where you write a prompt with the regular language, right? And it converts into a SQL query, which an engineer needs to write, usually, right? And then you get the analytical tools and the dashboards. Again, they're not there yet, but I helped them through a very long journey. But that's what I see what's happening right now. And we look at big enterprise applications in a similar way. You do not need engineer who understands SQL queries anymore. This is the beauty, right? So if you want the dashboards, you don't have to run to a data analyst and ask them, hey, can you rewrite, can you add this data, right? You can just go and prompt and ask, listen, can you forecast next year, outcomes of this model if I change this? That converts into the SQL query or JSON or Python or C++. Run it in the application and deliver what you need immediately. That's where I see the biggest impact. And we have a lot of clients who, even before I was selling services, automate. They come to you, they ask, hey, here is the process. We need to automate this process. You have to do it. You need to hire engineers to do it. Deliver to the clients. They need to make a change. You go back to engineers. This is the first time in history where I had a few clients where I said, let me show you, let me teach you how to do it. And then CEO of this small organization jumped in and it's like, Evgeny, I don't have any technical background. I don't understand coding. And I said, you don't need to. Well, let's go together. Let's go to make.com. Let's have 5 modules. Click, 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 connect, run. And he was so fascinated. He's like, I just wrote the code. I said, no, you just build the agent running on its own without any knowledge of the code. And I think this is what's happening right now. And Justin, you saw what we've done at the Mind Valley AI Mastery class. So many people from different backgrounds, and a lot of them with no technical background, zero, managed to build this no-coding automation.
Exactly. That's beautiful. And I can imagine how your client light his face up when he was able to build that. Because before it was like, okay, you need to.
Yeah, we're saying even the consultancy, as it is, it's changing, right? So we're guiding clients to this journey, but they can do a lot of this stuff on its own. Fortunately, unfortunately, it's changing, right? But I like it because I don't have to code anymore. I don't have to run and spend tons of hours on automation. I can guide them through the strategy and tell them to build something. And the biggest advantage, I think, right now, anyone can write an application with no knowledge and just do the proof of concept. Remember when we discussed it, our class, and I've done it to a few clients when they asked me, can you suggest me a company who can build me UX interface application? And I said, no, but open Claude AI, write the request there, build me an application with this requirements. Let me see how it works. Done. And you have an application. You test your proof of concept. You don't need to publish applications. You don't need to spend countless hours building it, paying engineers, marketing, and so on. Build it, test it, see if it works.
I fully agree. It's the MVP approach, minimum viable product. Before we used to hire app developers, programmers, designers, and all this. But right now with AI, I fully agree with you. It's like we are the strategists now versus we do the coding, we build the application for them. So it's totally different in the consultancy business. That's pretty awesome to hear coming from you and in your experience. What about let's go with the strategic tool selection, right? Right now, there's a lot of overwhelm, a lot of confusion, a lot of shiny object syndrome, the fear of the FOMO, fear of missing out. So there are countless of tools, no code tools available right now. So how do you determine which one are worth integrating into a business? Maybe it could be a client, it could be your business. What's your go-to framework to evaluate them?
That's unfortunate. Like we have hundreds and hundreds of new applications coming every week. And, fortunately, I'm spending a lot of time. I'm evaluating maybe 5 to 6 applications every week. So we go through the process. And again, I built some automation AI, run it through the funnel, right? To put the criteria I'm looking for, what API or what data standards do we need? Do we need to secure data or it can be publicly open, right? What's the outcome? And AI is suggesting you some of the applications. Even simple GPT does a very good job if you put the right prompting in it, right? And then you have to do POC, right? Proof of concept. You need to try it and test it, try and test it. Build this Airtable with all the AI applications, but I noticed that I have to change it every couple of weeks because some of the applications become obsolete. And this is what's happening. The same as was with crypto, blockchain, and automation, right? It's a hype, a lot of application out there. I strongly believe, and it's based on my experience, that the big conglomerates, big companies will eventually prevail. I'll give you an example. I work with the company AI via, so they build a very good GPT system. So with access to 3 different GPTs, right? Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT. Great enterprise level, everything is good, but I caution them. I caution them that as soon as Google will release those functionalities, you'll be obsolete. And I was right. So Google just released the Gemini into enterprise for free, right? I remember speaking to them 2 months ago. They were trying to sell it to me for $30 a user for Gemini AI assistant. And suddenly in January, they just push it for free because they're afraid of competition, right, with Microsoft Copilot. But suddenly we see the applications with good functionalities, not as good as ChatGPT, but they live in that secure environment, right, or HIPAA-compliant environment. You don't need to build APIs, you don't need to have connectivity. And suddenly, yes, it makes sense for me to start using Google Gemini because I'm in this environment. For some people, it makes sense to live in Copilot because they live in Microsoft environment. That's what it's coming to. And they will evolve. They will bring automation tools. Recently, GPT announced that Pro version, right, and operators. Operators are changing everything because they are automatically go online, do the booking, do the web scrapping, get the data out of the web, right? It does all the automation, which usually it takes you a few different applications to do. So I truly believe, and then if Microsoft will bring it in, or Google will eventually bring it in 3-4 months, that will change everything. And then we will be looking at 3 or 4 big companies: Google, Microsoft, I don't know, maybe Amazon, right? So then all those small companies that you used as POC, you tested, they'll eventually will become either obsolete or they will integrate with something else. You just look at KGen and Synthesia, right? So they're competing with each other and they're releasing features, functionalities every 2 days, right? And dropping the price. They're competing, which is amazing. But at the end, I would probably envision that one of the big companies like NVIDIA probably will buy it out and, offer this really good functionality application with a lower cost. So going back to how to choose the platform, right? You can use AI, good prompting. You need to test it. You look at the API, but you need to look at the roadmap. What is going to happen with this company? Am I wasting time and money on this particular product? We selected, when we go through the AI strategy, right? We'll look at the goals, what to do. And we select a few applications which you can use to conceptualize, right? To build the idea, to build the strategy while waiting or trying to integrate with the larger platforms like Gemini. And that's what we did for one of the clients. So we built everything on that AI via. We tested everything. We trained people how to prompt, how to run automations through the files. But now Gemini becomes available. It's an easy switch. That's unfortunate. You see it on LinkedIn and all the posts. People are posting hundreds of applications. These are the applications. And then I found out that 2 weeks later, one of the applications became obsolete.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is the other side of the coin where, yeah, you're right. The big companies are really going to be dominating in this race, right? But for most of the clients, they're kind of fearful of overwhelmed, they're confused. It's interesting on how the tools are releasing every week. I kind of agree with what you were projecting. And you have been projecting quite accurately for what's
Yeah,
happening.
it's
So,
it's an interesting change, and again, I advise a lot of clients. Yeah, go to consultants who in this space who understands, right, and just help to carve the journey, right, to guide them through the journey. Again, the consulting business has changed overall. Before there were like 6 months engagement, right, to choose the right platform. Not anymore. Now it's probably like 2 weeks engagement to guide you to the right tool for time being. In 2 months might be completely obsolete or might be different, right? I cannot predict everything. And before we were projecting 5 years ahead, right? All our projects were 6 months long. Choose the platform, sign the 3 to 5 years agreement. Now I don't sign longer than a year agreement with any company, with any vendor, because competition is furious. It's, you see what's happening, right? The DeepSeek showed that competition is real. Somebody can just jump into the market, right, and introduce something new. There is no know-how, as we know anymore, right? With GPT, with the LMM models, the knowledge is there. It's just how you package it for a specific business case. But it is crazy right now.
yeah, absolutely. DeepSeek was a good example about a fraction of the cost, how you will use the critical thinking models. So, which is awesome, and it was affecting so many others out there, like even the big players, right? Especially the big players. So, absolutely. By the way, so I'm curious about right now you have shifted to a different model, but can you share a specific example where no code automation completely transformed a critical process in your business or maybe of a client?
We have a lot of business cases with the no coding, where clients are looking for automation. It's as easy as building something on make.com, right? Or build a concept, proof of concept for applications. I found fascinating that in the coding itself and the DevOps world, right? So there are tons of tools right now which are using, scanning the GitHub for the codes, understand the code, and suggest you how to adjust your own code for your application. I think this is the biggest shift right now, where you don't need to have a big DevOps team, large teams, right? So you can do it very easily with just a few people who just use the GPT or any other tool to rewrite the code, right? So, or make the code run better, right? DeepSeek was one of the examples, right? So you can find the way, even through just prompting, find the way to, make your code better, right? Get the better quality, make it work faster, less issues. We worked on a few projects where we use the AI to adjust the code to make it work better, faster, cheaper, better, right? And this is a great tool for the DevOps teams. But again, we see a huge shift in DevOps world, right? You don't need so many programmers anymore, right? And you don't need specialized programmers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the roles has changed. The businesses has changed. The approach has changed just because of AI. And it will dramatically change as well as we go. Even with agentic AI, as what you mentioned, I think there will also be a lot of changes. By the way, so if we're going to talk about quick wins versus long-term AI strategy, what are some of the quickest automation wins maybe entrepreneurs or can implement immediately, and how do they scale those wins into the long-term AI strategy?
Yeah, I can give you an example. Well, I'm helping Canadian rural area small businesses in Alberta. It was interesting. So we were coaching small businesses how to, how to get to the next level. And one of the clients, the CEO, he said, "Well, so Evgeny, how can you help me? I just bought a business, so what can I do?" I said, "Okay, so do you have marketing?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm hiring 3 people to do marketing." said, let me teach you in 5 hours how to do marketing on your own. And I basically, in 5 hours, I taught him how to create content, automatically publish on social media, right? Generating posts, sales posts, and so on immediately. Not spending 2 hours or half an hour, spending seconds, and just help him along the way. And suddenly, after a week, he said, I'm not going to hire a marketing department anymore. I don't need it, right? I don't need a designer. I can do it myself, paying $50, a month for those licenses. That was a very interesting business case. And now I have more and more small businesses reaching out to us. And it's like, how can we do it? I would say marketing is the first, right? Content generation, posting on social media. It's so easy. You write good prompts, you automate this, and you can automatically post your, social media posts, schedule it for a month, and keep it running. Even reply to the comments, right? This automation is very easy. This is the first thing you should touch because it's right there, right? Then, hiring process, right? Team resources that you cannot replace team resources team, but it helps them to automate the process, right? Read through resumes, right? Post correct job postings, right? Find the right people. So it helps tremendously to cut down time. The strategy should be you find a business case in your company, right? And then you find an AI solution for this particular business case. That's what we do. Don't go to, leadership and try to build AI strategies for organizations. It's probably not going to fly because majority of people don't even understand AI. Find the business case. And that's what, did department by department. You ask them, so here's what AI can do. What's your business? What's the most repetitive task you do? And you'll be surprised, right? The financial teams like, I'm doing this repetitive task every single day. Consolidating files or find the match data between two files. You can build scripts, you can build VLOOKUPs. It's very difficult to do. And it takes hours to do that simple task. Now, you just drop two files into any GPT and ask, find the matching data, find matching names, go reconfigure, and even create a new spreadsheet with the exported data. It's easy. You don't need the analyst to do that. Anyone can do it. That repetitive task will save you tons of time. Again, it was after that AI class, right? I started saving a lot of time in my day. Repetitive tasks right now automated.
Automation is really something that opens a lot of doors. Repetitive task is definitely number one. We haven't even mentioned about analyzing whatever files you have dropped there, right? We're only talking about simple repetitive tasks. And that's a very good share, Evgeny. Another thing maybe when I want to touch on would be when we're balancing automation and personalization, many fear automation will make businesses lose their personal touch. How do you keep automation efficient yet human-centered?
As I preach to everyone, AI is not going to replace all the jobs, right? It's going to transform them, change them. And that's, business acumen or understanding the human side and ability to translate it into language model, right, into AI. That will be the biggest commodity in the future. So us trying to explain to AI what exactly we want, that will be the most important job in the future, right? And in engineering and team resources and marketing and so on. Because right now it's very difficult. If you don't understand how to prompt, if you don't understand how the language model works, right, you'll be frustrated, right? So hallucination is very real. AI is producing, wrong information, right? It's frustrating. I'm dealing with it every day. I even sending to ChatGPT, OpenAI, the business cases where I'm catching AI hallucinating like there is no tomorrow, right? And we don't understand, even the designers of language models still don't understand how AI came to that conclusion. That's why they created reasoning and the newest language models. That link between humanity and AI is very important, because otherwise we'll go into this loop where we will have to adapt to what language models are producing. And we don't want that, right? We want language models to adapt to our style, right? To what we want, right? As human being. And that's why, customization is very important. You saw ChatGPT right away release the customization, right? Custom GPTs. Google Gemini did the same, jams, right? So you customize. And I'm writing those custom GPTs like every single day. I have hundreds of them customized to specific business case so they understand my personalization. Otherwise, you know what's happening. Look at social media, right? The data looks the same. AI, if you don't customize it, it gives you very similar responses. All those new virtual influencers, they look very similar because I spend a lot of time putting the prompt to create a human character, right? And unfortunately, AI is very biased, and it understands human nature differently. And that's why it's creating a very similar character as those AI influencers. They're very similar, right? And it's an art to actually, ask it to do the right thing, what you want. Right now, people just don't spend time doing it, right? So they just put the prompt into AI and say, hey, create the content, publish it. Okay, create a video, publish it, right? Create that AI influencer, whatever, publish it, because it's a big hype. We'll be looking for that custom, personalized, right, approach.
Yes, it's kind of like a copy and paste. So just put the prompt, copy and paste, and put a content. So that's happening right now, and you're right. It's also the art of really asking further and personalizing it. Not only personalizing it to you, but also to whoever that message is going to be, right? Because right now, it's never about only one person. It's also about you and whoever you're engaging. It could be your audience, it could be your clients, it could be anyone, and that's a pretty profound way of seeing it. And from there, maybe we can go with curious about how do you debunk no code myths. So let's say, for example, what are the some of the biggest misconceptions about no code automation, and how would you address skepticism from traditional business owners? And I'm sure you have a lot of them.
Yeah, I think the big misconception, everyone's saying that, oh, I still need to understand the code, right? And they go to make.com, they start creating the module, and the first thing the module will tell you, it looks like I can create you a JSON file. And that's where they stop. I was like, oh my God, that's like one page of code. I don't understand. I'm not a coder. That's it. That's where it stops, right? And that's where, I teach that you don't need to understand the code. Don't even read it. Copy, paste to GPT, ask the question. It will adjust the code. You paste it back, you run it. It doesn't work. It generates the error message. Copy the error message, go back to GPT and say, adjust the code, right? So this is the most repeated myth right now, that you need to understand the code. And that's why a lot of small business owners, they still go looking for engineers who are trying to write the code for them. You don't need it anymore. They hit that wall right away, and they see the code, they get scared, and they say, no, it's too difficult. This automation is too difficult. Remember through our AI course, right? A lot of them struggled with automation because they see the word API. You need to create the code for API. That's it. They raise their hands. They say, oh my God, this is too technical. API, I cannot do it. I don't understand. It's too technical. No, it's not. You click security, API, generate the code, copy, and paste in another application. You're done. And GPT tells you exact instructions how to do it. Before, yes, it was difficult. You need to understand the API requirements and so on. Recently, I did the automation with the phone system API. I have not coded for a long time. And I said, let me try. So I went online, download the API document. 8 pages document explaining API codes and everything. I put it in GPT. I said, here's an API document. Can you create the code to link and get the data I want out of this application? I said, yeah, absolutely. Created the code to monday.com, connected through API, and I was amazed. I was like, oh my God, this is so easy, right? We went. So this was another barrier where everyone, as soon as they hear the word API integration, they stop. Look at make.com. It has integration with hundreds and hundreds of different applications. Not all of them are perfect. I mean, they're introducing more and more. Some of them you have to do this through API, which is a little bit tricky, but you can create crazy automations through make.com, right? And connect to all different data sources and applications. You can do it without understanding the code.
And sometimes they hit a roadblock. What is JSON code, right? So those are really amazing when nobody will guide you at the beginning. If you don't understand LLM or ChatGPT or prompting, yes, you will hit that roadblock. And if, let's say, non-tech entrepreneurs, and maybe for the first steps for them to start, for a business owner with no technical background at all, or maybe just less, what's the first no-code automation they should implement, and how can they do it without overwhelming?
I would say Airtable and make.com are the simplest applications. And if you get a paid version of Airtable, it has the GPT or AI assistant right there. So you basically go there and just say, build an application. And you type a prompt. This is what I want to have as an outcome. And it built an application for you, right? It built a table, it builds an interface, it builds everything, and then it suggests. For further automation, you can go to make.com. But I see the Airtable already creating a lot of automation, which might make make.com obsolete as the integration tool. They're already building a lot of automation inside. What we usually do, we find a business case, right? And somebody saying, yeah, listen, I need to manage the invoices in Salesforce, but I need to transfer the data into a different application. Prompt, put it in ChatGPT and explain that these are 2 platforms. This is the data incoming data. This is the outgoing data I'm looking for. These are the criteria. What do I do? But start prompt with, pretend you are well-known coding engineer understanding these 2 platforms. Then it gives you instructions step by step. And you try to implement, right? So again, you do not need to understand coding or how language models work. You will see a few applications. You need to try to connect them and see if it outcomes is to your desire. Basic stuff, you can build it easy. You probably will spend a couple of hours. If you're absolutely non-technical, maybe a few days, and you can build this application, right? So, but if you need to go to the next level, make it look better, have a more complex integration, Then you might hire somebody and tell them, here's an app. Can you do the further integration as required? But again, it will be a much cheaper, much faster approach than go and build the application from scratch. We start from collecting requirements, talking to business owners, right? Getting the outcome, build a prototype, bring this prototype in, right? Test. And 3 months later, you might say, nah, that's not what I want, right? You just wasted 4 months of your valuable time. Build something on your own and see, is that the outcome I want? Is it good enough for my users just to see this invoices data and in email or not? Your employees, and they might say, no, that's not what we want. We just want it strictly on mobile device, or I don't even care about this data. I just need one number. And it needs to appear in my statement or in my email. It's easy to build. Trust me, it's easy.
That's very valuable. Because most of the people, as you said, like they could probably waste 4 months of their time, 6 months, sometimes with maybe a year, just to build something that, like, just from ideas to something that they visually want. But once you build that product, it could be an app, it could be a software or solution, and once you get a feedback, there's no turning back. The time has spent, money has spent, people, resources, and there you go. You need to go back again. So pretty awesome and valuable tip. What about if we're gonna go with scaling without complexity, right? So once we have the tools, maybe we talk about how do businesses prevent automation overload? Like, a lot of people seems to get excited, enthusiastic about, we can do this, we can do that, but we're overload, like using too many tools to add complexity rather than reducing it. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, suggestion is do not try to automate everything, right? Automate only something that, is a repetitive task, easy to automate, and where you have definite ROI, right? So you see that there'll be outcome. When I read the book about Elon Musk, right? So he tried to automate everything at his Tesla factory, right? And he installed robot everywhere. And he hit the first roadblock when he came in. He looked at the first automation tool and said, why is taking 8 seconds to type the bolt, where human it takes 3 seconds? And they said, well, it's too slow. The robot is too slow. It needs to be adjusted and so on. He ripped the panel out, tried to adjust it himself, adjusted to 6 seconds. He said, still, it's slower than a human. This is the time where he realized that he need to de-automate. He cut the hole in his factory wall and started throwing the robotic arms out. And he went through the entire line and identify where it's still faster to do it with a human being, get the robot out, right? And he mentioned the book, he made a mistake, trying to automate everything. Now he goes back and analyze and automate those pieces where, he was missing. That's why he built the Optimus humanoid, right? To replace people in those tasks, which humans are much better. Right? So do not try to automate everything. It's definitely not a good approach. Find a business case, try to automate, see if it works, right? And maybe scale this automation slowly. I usually find the department which does a lot of manual work, manual labor, right? And then I see, okay, can I automate one process? If I can automate the process, I probably can automate the second one, the third one, and similar in this department, right? Then I immediately see a lot of time saving. This is the approach. And again, if you're not comfortable when you look at your organizations, like where should I start? How do I do it? Go to consultants, talk to them, somebody who understands the business and AI, right? And have a lot of business cases on their hands, right? And tell them, hey, listen, I'm trying to make this specific business unit or department more efficient. And I can tell, normally it takes me a few minutes to tell me, should you do it or should you not? And a lot of time they just get upset when I tell them, do not touch it, right? A lot of tools, as we see it, they are too good to be true, right? A lot of them, it's a very good sales speech, right? So we do a lot of proof of concept and we dive really deep into application, finding after 3 months that majority of the functionality they're selling is just not there. And a lot of them are saying AI, which is not truly AI, it's some kind of automation, right? Not generative AI. So you need to understand the tool. So maybe go to consultants and, spend a few hours, a few days and tell them, hey, here's what I have, here's the business, here's my pain point, right? Should we try to automate or should we not? Right now, it doesn't take me 2-3 months to go through this journey, right? It takes me a couple of hours to see, maybe you shouldn't touch it. Or there is a tool you can automate on your own. Look at Zapier, look at make.com. Here's a few steps. Here's the blueprint we can share. Just do the automation, easy.
Yeah, that's just very valuable. Automate or de-automate. That's very profound. A lot of people are very excited to automate everything, if possible. So that's very valuable, Evgeny. So if we're running right now with AI and we're looking in the future, and maybe the evolution of the no code with AI rapidly evolving, where do you see no code automation heading in the next maybe 3 to 5 years? And how can businesses prepare for this shift?
Again, it's very hard to predict right now. We cannot even predict what's going to happen in a month and 2 months, right? Everything is shifting. As I see it, based on the experience, I see that Agentic AI will make the most impact. And as soon as we'll make those agents self-learn, right, and understand the data, I think what it probably will evolve in the future where you'll have that agent in your environment, right? And it's looking at what you do, right? Well, Microsoft already implementing this, right? So new Copilot is watching how you do and what you do every day, and then suggests you, hey, listen, you click on this button 6 times a day, right? Can I automate this for you? I think the future will be where those agents will be in your environment, right? Watching and automatically adjusting. If you following up on those emails, it will suggest, can I do it for you, right? If you need to schedule appointments, right? It should look at your calendar and see and suggest how to schedule an appointment. Remember, all those co-pilots, right? They are assistant, right? So they build it as assistant. I call them business analysts, right? Because I think this is the job they're trying to replace, where you go to the business analyst with a lot of knowledge and understanding, right? And tell him, hey, listen, do analysis. Hey, listen, automate. That's what's going to happen. And then all these repetitive tasks will become automated with the autonomous agents, right? Who has access to your business data, understands your business because it's sitting in your environment for months, and understand what you do and how other agents are working. Probably will have agents for different departments, and then system together as an orchestrator will understand all this data and then go back to, strategists. These parts of our jobs will be replaced with automation, because data in, analyze, outcome, right, as a strategy. That AI can do pretty damn well. Give it the data, ask how to analyze, and ask to come up with a strategy, right, or steps. And in the future, those steps will be automated. We see it in security right now. It's happening, right? A lot of systems are built to analyze the behavior, detect the threat, right? Advise the SOC team to do something, but they already go into the next step, prevent or stop the attack. based on this data, right? We see a lot of applications like Rapid7, they're going that way. And I truly believe that's what's going to happen. Those autonomous agents, even in security, will be doing the job. You as the human being will be verifying, doing the quality control, and maybe execute. That's my prediction, but again, it can change, or it can be, it could happen faster than I think.
Yeah, it could be possible. It will happen faster than we think. Like as how the speed is running right now of the change, we wouldn't. I mean, this could be just one of the changes. There would be a lot of changes coming. Those are great predictions. Maybe this is kind of maybe your personal, more of in your lifestyle impact, like for you, like how was leveraging automation change your personal productivity, like your time management, your lifestyle? How has it affected you or improved?
It helped tremendously. I think I shaved off probably 2 days out of 5 days in a week, right? Where, a lot of repetitive tasks are done, context generation and everything. But I'm using AI like every minute, right? And I'm using different tools, in personal life. Like I'm playing hockey, and we were struggling, and I say, hey guys, I can build an anthem, right? A song for our team. Boom. I can build a logo for our team. Boom. How about building a roster and check in and building the lines, right? Then the AI right now analyzing historical data, who scores the most goals, which lines could be built better. There are applications out there, but they're not perfect. But I built it in seconds. I went to Claude and say, hey, do it. Done, right? I need to track my finances or some payments. Go to Claude and say, hey, build me an application to check. Done. I have 4 kids, so that's a lot of logistics, right? Send them to all the classes and everything. And my wife and I, we've been struggling, and I get the AI agent where it scheduled everything for us, right? And every time, I receive a paper or 3 pages of papers or schedule for, my son's swimming. I was like, oh my God, now I have to manually do it? No. I just attach it and send it to an AI agent. It reads all the data and import it on the schedule and send it to my wife and me. So this is the automation, which helps tremendously, because you're spending hours, countless hours on this, repetitive tasks, which can be easily automated. And the applications right now, $10 a month, $5 a month, and $20 a month. You remember, 2 years ago, you have to spend $300 a month for these applications, right? So you have to pay for a year subscription. Now you can get a trial, test it, and automate and see. I automate tons of stuff through ChatGPT, so new GPT tasks right now, through Claude AI, building applications, and some other tools. Anyone can do it. It's easy right now. You just find the repetitive task, go to GPT and say, hey, how can I automate? What should I use?
That could really change a lot of our lifestyle. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm also learning from you through this podcast and your ideas. We're coming to the last part, which is let's have a final takeaway for our audience. So maybe if an entrepreneur, a founder, it could be a consultant, a coach, maybe it's a small business owner, an enterprise right now is maybe hesitant to actually go with AI or no code tools. What's the one mindset shift or action step they could take today?
This is the evolution, okay? It's not going to stop. I always compare, and I took it from one of the social media article, that we compare it to introduction of the calculators, right? When calculators were introduced, all the teachers, they boycotting it, they went on strikes, kids cannot use calculators. Absolutely no. Can we right now survive without a calculator? No, right? We integrate it in our life. That was an evolution step. This is the biggest evolution in our history of mankind. It's changing everything as we know it. The longer you resist, the longer it will take to adapt, right? I don't know about kids, but people who are in that AI space right now, they're evolving, adapting like every single day, right? And I catch myself that thinking that everyone else is basically testing 5 tools a week, but people just, they don't have time. A lot of people have this, roadblocks thinking you need to be technical. You need to understand the code. You need to understand technology. I have this discussion with all my friends. They come in and I start being passionate about AI and I'm telling them how I use, and they say, oh, yeah, you IT. And I keep telling them, no. I just went through this AI Mind Valley course. None of them were IT, just a few. The rest were doctors, artists, designers, real estate agents, right? Who decided to change, right? So who embraced AI, and their life changed completely, right? Because you have to adapt right now. The jobs will be obsolete. The industries will shift and change. Not in 5 years, not in 3 years. I predicted it 5 years ago that it's going to happen in this year, 24, 25. It's going to happen in 4 months, 3 months. Look at what's happening with a big consulting firm, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, and so on. It will change those companies as we know them. They either will adapt or they will cease to exist. Doesn't matter what the size of the company. If you do not get into this AI strategy and start adapting it, you probably will be obsolete. The company like, I'm not talking about DeepSeek, but the company like DeepSeek, right? So there are the companies with 5 employees will come along and will swoop fill the sector. We're talking about, CRM systems, right? They all think that they have the market. Then I can show everyone, like, you can do a lot of in Airtable, which you cannot even do in CRM, which you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, right? This is the shift we see. So my advice, go start learning, go to GPT, bring the business case, ask what to do, try those tools like Airtable, make.com. See if you can master it. If you cannot, go and find a consultant, have a quick speech, a quick guide and see how we can do it. And I have tons of business cases where we taught a few people in each department how to automate or how you use GPT to make their life easier. People who resisted, at the end, they saw that, oh my God, this person has less work to do right now, right? And then they jump into this, train. This is not yesterday. This is happening now. You need to jump into this. And, just you see what's happening in China, right? They're already on the next level. Humanoid robotics, right? Self-driving cars, flying cars. They're on the next level of this push. If you want to understand, read the book, Max Tegmark, Life 3.0. That was my Bible. He predicted how everything is happening. It's very fascinating. He actually predicted this AI, but in a futuristic way. But I believe that's what's happening, right? We have to catch up with this technology. Otherwise, the technology will move on. There'll be faster processes. There'll be better language models every single month, right? You just need to understand, grab, and start using it daily on everything. And people just don't understand how fascinating it is, how much time it can save in the real life, not business, in just real life. Start using it. GPT, ask. Don't Google anymore. Go build itinerary if you travel with your kids. I've done it multiple times. I ask GPT, so these are my criteria. These are my kids. This is what they like to do. We're going to trip for this period of time. What do you suggest? Show me where to buy tickets and give me the itinerary. and share it with my wife. And it's like hour by hour, what to see, where to go, right? It schedule everything. And the beauty of it, you on the trip, you want to make a change, you just type it and say, you know what? How about we switch day 3 to 2? How about we introduce something else because I'm in this area? Boom, the entire itinerary changed. It's fascinating, and I'm really glad that we are broadcasting it out there. We're talking about this, right? And we were involved in a mastery class where we have thousands of people all over the world really spend a lot of time to master this AI.
Beautiful, Evgeny. And it's an honor to have you in the podcast. And thank you for so much of your insights, your sharing your experience. It's very valuable for my audience. And also one more question before we go is, how can my audience and potentially your audience will reach out to you?
Yeah, just find me on LinkedIn, Evgeny Koloda, or go to kolodaconsulting.com. I have all the links there. And just, go to LinkedIn, social media. I'm posting a lot of stuff. Ask questions. Don't hesitate. I see people hesitating, like, oh, well, should I ask? Just go on LinkedIn, type a message. Hey, Evgeny, listen, I'm looking at this application. Should I do it? Should I not? Right? It's pretty easy. But start doing it right now.
Start the first step. Yes, so I will put the description below, all the details on the valuable insights, the book, and the links for Evgeny for you to find him. And thank you for watching Future Proof Leaders. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Justin.